Today we're checking out some more real-life legacies for our favorite Uma. This is Tokai Teio, a triumphant return in Umamusume. If you've seen Season 2 of Umamusume, you are very aware of this amazing story. But we're not exactly aware of how amazing it is for the real-life horse. So Pyrex made a video on it. We're going to check that out. Make sure you check out Pyrex's video. The link for that's down in the description. Don't just watch my reaction. Go watch the actual video. Leave a like there. Leave a comment there so you can support the creator. Don't forget to leave a like here and a comment here. What do you think about Tokai Teio? What do you think about Season 2 of Umamusume? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And you're probably wondering why I'm not posting Umamusume reactions at the moment. I did go through some copyright issues. Link for that video is down. Either a pinned comment, description, something. Let's check this out.
Before this video begins, if you'd like to see me play Umamusume live on my Twitch, I'll link it down in the description below. To further support this series, consider becoming a channel member as well, or leave a super chat and tell me what you enjoyed most. Thank you to all my current channel members and subscribers over on Twitch. And now, without further delay, let's get right into the video.
So cool that he is
Horse
a
racing
fucking
remains
Tokai
to this
Teio.
day as one of the most popular sports in Japan. Through the decades, legacies have been established and several race...
What? Did he just say horse? What?
Right into the video. Horse racing remains to this day as one of the most popular sports in Japan. Through the
I thought he was
decades,
talking about the game
legacies have been
specifically.
established and several racehorses have solidified themselves in the JRA Hall of Fame, forever immortalized for their greatness on the racetrack.
That's
Every
dope.
year, around 6,000 to 8,000 new racehorses are registered to the
That's crazy. 6,000 to 8,000 a year.
JRA, and of that group, less than 30% would manage a single win throughout their career.
That's crazy. 70% of horses don't get a win.
Of this 30%, even fewer would be known as Triple Crown racehorses. Over the span of
Very rare.
1941 to 1992, the odds of becoming a Triple Crown racehorse were 1 in every 76,500.
1 in 76,500?
For many, this prestigious title was far out of reach, but for one racehorse, it would be the foundation to a story of perseverance. This is a story of Tokai Teio,
Tokai Teio.
the racehorse who defied all odds and turned the tragedy into a triumphant return. If you've been playing Umamusume or have been following the series, you'll know the game utilizes real-life events to shape the characters we race in the game. Before we dive into Teio's story,
Yo, a Rudolph movie adaptation would be sick, bro. Rudolph was dominant, bro. Can we please get a Simboli Rudolph movie? Jesus.
we first need to familiarize ourselves with what exactly a Triple Crown racehorse is. In the
That
game,
means you win the
you'll
Triple
compete in various
Crown.
races to climb
Oh,
to
yo, Yogs, thank you so much for the 17 months, dude. Appreciate you.
the top, eventually reaching the Ura Finale series. This
Satsuki show.
instance in the game, just
Japanese
like everything
Derby,
in Umamusume, is
and
modeled
Kika
after
show.
races that took place in real life. A
a
Triple
Triple
Crown
Crown.
racehorse is a 3-year-old thoroughbred who has won 3 races that make up the prestigious Japanese Triple Crown. These races should sound familiar if you played through Umamusume Pretty Derby. These
Satsuki.
races include the
Japanese
Satsuki
Derby.
Sho, Tokyo Yunshun, or the Japanese Derby, and the Kika Sho. The first ever Triple Crown racehorse was ST Light, who was given the Triple Crown title in 1941. The
Damn.
next racehorse to receive this title would be Shinzan in 1964, Mr.
23 years later?
CB in 1983, and finally Simboli Rudolph in 1984. Tokai Teio was set to be the next recipient of this prestigious title. This was because Simboli Rudolph was Teio's sire, making him bred for the racetrack just as his father was. On April 20th, 1988, Tokai Teio was born at the Nagahama Ranch in Nikapu, Hokkaido. Even Teio's name is a reference to his father's crowning achievements. Teio translates to monarch, directly referring to Rudolph's
Oh.
nickname Kote, meaning emperor.
Oh.
From birth, Tokai Teio didn't show much promise, having long legs and a delicate frame. However, his
Interesting.
potential began to shine through as conditioning and training began. Teio displayed flexible movement and a competitive spirit, reigniting the hope that he could follow up in his father's footsteps. Teio's unique flexibility is also brought up in the series, both by her fellow Umas and in the iconic Teio step, which is present both in the anime and in-game. In the world of Umamusume, Tokai Teio is a bright, bubbly Uma who has a
Yeah,
natural
we
born
love
talent
Tokai
for
Teio.
racing. She sees Rudolph as a mentor and a symbol of success. Rudolph is a student council president and always carries a sense of seriousness and elegance through the story of Umamusume. With Tokai Teio,
And every time I see Simply
carries a
Rudolph,
sense of seriousness
I always
and
look at
elegance
this
through the story.
hair and I'm just like, why? I will never be used to seeing Simply Rudolph's hair. Never. Never in my life. She looked like she got a stick-on face.
Story of Umamusume. With Tokai Teio, Rudolph seems to have a softer side for her junior, and even from afar, still hopes the best for the Uma who admires her so much. This is yet another nod to real-life events in Umamusume, showcasing the lineage of Symboli Rudolph to Tokai Teio. Tokai Teio also displays high levels of speed in the series as well, a nod to the outstanding performance that he show on ramp courses. A horse of Tokai Teio's caliber should not have been able to record good times. He had a longer stride, but even still was able to shatter all expectations. Due to this, Shoichi Matsumoto, Teio's trainer, would plan a schedule to have Teio seize the next Triple Crown. In the anime, Tokai Teio is also racing as a legacy to Rudolph. Teio is inspired by seeing Rudolph race.
Bro, stop using my Tazuna. I just don't understand why. I don't understand how using Tazuna is good. I don't get it. It's very confusing to me. I don't understand what makes Tazuna good.
Before she joins Tracen Academy, when first meeting with the legendary Triple Crown recipient, Teio vows to be the next Triple Crown racehorse, directly referencing the lineage Teio came from once more. Through the next
Look at her little skinny ass with a big ass head. Look at that big ass head on her. Damn. She got a fucking noggin on her, dude. Whoa. That thing is huge.
From once more. Through the next string of victories, she'd inspire a future generation of Umas
just like Joe,
in the
how
series,
dare you?
like Kita-san Black and Satono Diamond. From Teio's debut on December 1st, 1990, he dominated each and every single race he took part in. The very same speed and competitive spirit shown in Umamusume is reflected in Teio's race history. From his initial debut until May 26, 1991, Teio remained undefeated on the racecourse.
That's
in
dope.
this short time, he'd also placed first in the Satsuki Sho and Tokyo Yushun. This left only the Kika Sho to claim the Triple Crown. However, only 3 days after winning the Tokyo Yushun, Teio would hit a massive roadblock. With the Kika Sho and the Triple Crown title within reach, Tokai Teio would sustain his first injury in his racing career. Just as the anime subtly hints to in the first few episodes, Teio's keen-eyed handlers also felt something was off with the racehorse. After an examination on Teio was conducted, it was revealed that his left leg had been fractured. This, unfortunately, would shatter the dreams of Teio following in his father's footsteps, and in the anime, come as a devastating blow to Teio for not fulfilling her promise to Rudolph. The entirety of Umamusume Season 2 are the ups and downs of Teio's career.
Bro, Season 2 of Umamusume is certainly the best. It's just so good. It's just such a phenomenal season. I do think that Season 3 is also really, really great because what I love about Season 3 shows you what it means to fall off. You know, you just are no longer in the prime of your career. It's a fucking sad thing, but it happens with everyone in every sport, everywhere. No matter what, eventually you cannot be as good as you were when you were at your best because age comes, because wear and tear on the body comes, and you just cannot reach those same levels again. And that's what I love about Season 3.
From this point until Teio's final race, I will do my best to paint a coherent timeline between the anime and real-life events as best as I can. Due to Teio's delicate frame, he was more susceptible to injuries such as this. Teio would spend nearly a year focusing on recovering and easing his way back into racing.
A year.
In the anime, it's not depicted as anything severe. The first fracture is something Teio overcomes with relative ease, and is back to racing shortly after. Returning to racing on April 5th, 1992, Tokai Teio will place first in the Osaka High. This came as a wave of relief to onlooking fans who were worried for Teio's first injury. Their beloved racehorse had bounced back, and even though he didn't receive a Triple Crown, he still displayed the same dominating presence he'd been known for on the racecourse. It was very rare to see an outcome like Teio's return, several months without racing to immediately dominating the competition once more. This feeling of relief, sadly, would be short-lived though. Teio's next race would be the Spring Tenno Show, with his major competition being Mejiro McQueen. The interesting thing about this race is the
And I love that too, the friendship and rivalry between Mejiro McQueen and
overall
Tokai
distance
Teio
of
as
it.
well.
Teio had raced on tracks ranging from 1,800 to 2,400 meters, comfortably racing medium-distance tracks over the course of his career. This would be Teio's first long-distance run, challenging both the UMA version and the real-life counterpart with a long road of conditioning and training. This rivalry reached its peak on April 26, 1992, when the Spring Tenno show would take place. Despite the difference in distance, Teio was still the majority favorite to win, holding his title as an undefeated racehorse. For context, up until this point in Teio's career, the lowest he'd ever been on the fan favorite was third. In the 7 races previous, Teio would be the favorite to win by a landslide, and this race was no different. Due to this, it came as a major shock and upset that Teio wouldn't place second after McQueen, but instead 5th overall. This would be Teio's lowest placement in his career thus far. Unsurprisingly,
it's a long race.
Teio's image was criticized by the media, establishing this event as a dethroning of an undefeated racehorse. The expectation.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, for sure. Oh, you're such a bad. This horse is so terrible because they race in medium races, and then they do one fucking long. By the way, not just long, but literally the fucking longest race. The Spring Tenno show, I'm pretty sure, is the longest race. That's the 3,200 meter, right? That's long as shit. Oh, we put her in the longest one, and then she didn't do as good. Wow, big fucking surprise. Maybe she's not built for fucking long races. Who would have thought?
Was high due to Rudolph being adept to long distance running. However,
yeah, and just because the parent was adept to long distance running doesn't mean the fucking kid will be.
Teio couldn't live up to the same expectation.
Also, you literally know about the build of the horse the entire time with the very like long limbs and shit.
This loss would sow the seeds of doubt in Umamusume for Teio, and only continued to snowball from this point on. Several days after Teio's defeat, he experienced his second leg fracture of his career.
Oh my god.
At this point, Teio's injuries would be taken more seriously. Repeated injuries such as fractures could be deadly to racehorses, so it would be best to tread lightly. Despite Teio's injuries, and clearly personified in the anime, Teio's fighting spirit never dwindled, even after losing both the Triple Crown and his undefeated race history. This is the point where
and that's a really sad part about the anime as well. Like watching that go down, not just like missing out on Triple Crown, but then you see how Tokai Teio is like, oh, okay, Triple Crown was my dream, but we can't do it. New dream, undefeated. Loses. New dream, can't accomplish. New dream, and like that is the level of like perseverance that he mentions, that Pyrex mentions, is so like at the core of what Umamusume is. It is truly at the core of what it is, but it's still like, yeah, I just love that. That's what you see from Tokai Teio, like constantly trying to find a new dream, a new reason to race and accomplish things.
Anime ventures away from real-life events. So from this point onward, I'll be sure to cover what the anime left out in the remainder of Teio's career. On November 1st, 1992, Teio participated in the Autumn Tenno show. Even after the first defeat of his career, fans still firmly believed in Teio's ability to win. This was back on a 2,000-meter course, something Teio showed clear domination on in the early stages of his career.
Yeah, but then
sadly,
injury.
This race too would come as a major upset to fans of the beloved racehorse. Teio found herself unable to accelerate any further midway through the race, as reflected from actual racing footage. Teio would hover mid-pack for the entirety of the race, finishing 7th overall, far lower than the original 5th place upset against McQueen. This would come as another major blow to Teio's reputation, and caused firm believers of Teio to lose faith in the racehorse who dominated the majority of their career. In Umamusume, following the Autumn Tenno show, we followed Teio on an emotional journey through recovery and rediscovery. Episode 7 of the anime would showcase a devastating loss at the Arima Kinen, with Teio placing 11th overall. Following this, Teio would fracture her leg yet again in episode 9, reflecting events that happened on June 3rd, 1993. The 11th place Arima Kinen would take place on December 27, 1992, but between this point and the depiction of Teio's third fracture would be one of the most important races of Teio's career. This race, unfortunately, is not one depicted in the anime, and is a race that we're all too familiar with if you've seen Umamusume Season 1. The Japan Cup is a prestigious international race, first established in 1981. This would pit Japanese racehorses against the best from around the world. The first race would include horses from Japan, the United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and India. Horse racing had a strong presence in Japan at the time, and expectations were high to see a win from Japan overall. The first ever Japan Cup winner was Marzi Dotes from the United States, coming as a major upset to the Japanese people. Following the debut of the Japan Cup, the door would be open to the best horses from around the world to participate, solidifying it as one of the most competitive international events to ever be established in horse racing. From the Japan Cup's initial establishment to the time of Teio's racing career in 1992, there would only be 2 victors crowned from Japan. These would be Katsuragi Ace in 1984 and Simbali Rudolph in 1985.
Yo, Simbali Rudolph,
From 1986 to 1991, Japan would see repeated losses at the Japan Cup. As the years progressed, faith in a Japanese victory grew smaller and smaller, and the legacy of the back-to-back wins of Katsuragi Ace and Simbali Rudolph slowly began to become a distant memory. Funnily enough,
yo, when we getting Katsuragi Ace, bro? That sounds like a good horse.
The Season 1 depiction of Special Week's win would be taken from the 1999 Japan Cup, 7 years after Teio's participation. Special Week's win would usher in another wave of hope for the Japanese people, and be the first of several consecutive wins of Japanese racehorses in the following years. The following victories would include TM Opero in the year 2000 and Jungle Pocket in 2001. From 2001 till modern day, foreign competitors would only steal a victory twice from the pride of Japan. What once began as a race would showcase weakness over foreign competitors, now would show strong determination and pride of the Japanese people. Currently, Japan has consecutive wins from 2006 to 2024, an 18-year record of wins at the Japan Cup. Though Special Week's win is seen as a major victory, it would be Tokai Teio's performance in 1993 that would revitalize the pride and hope of the Japanese racehorses. Despite Teio's second fracture and the low placement in the Autumn Tenno show, he was set to participate in the 1992 Japan Cup. It's important to note that Tokai Teio's competition was nothing to scoff at either. Even at the time of writing the script, the horses Teio went up against are still widely seen as the strongest lineup in the history of the Japan Cup races.
In the history of the races? Yo, who did we go up against?
Teio wasn't seen as a horse to claim victory either,
I'm sure
placing
McQueen
fifth
was
in
in
the
there.
overall popularity poll to win. So it would come as a major shock to everyone on November 29, 1992, when Tokai Teio began to advance to the front of the pack. Against all odds, in front of the entire world, Tokai Teio was about to solidify himself as a legendary racehorse. Teio had upset all odds, claiming victory for Japan once more. Even though Teio would never be a Triple Crown recipient.
So wait. So you're telling me that at the Japan Cup, the Japan Cup, this race was not in the anime?
He managed to do something even better. Despite 2 leg fractures, Teio was able to bring home a victory his father had years ago, showcasing the determination and competitive spirit that was still present within Tokai Teio.
It's cool that Teio won this, though.
Bested all odds against one of the most difficult rosters ever recorded, but had shown the people that nothing could keep him down. I'll never personally understand why the anime shied away from this race, but I wanted to make sure to highlight it in this video. Aside from Teio's miracle return, which we'll cover shortly.
Okay, alright, I gotta know who the hell was in this race. I don't know any of these horses. Damn. Oh, Dictus is in it. Yeah, Dictus is in it. That's it. I don't know anyone else here. Who are all these horses? You know what? I probably don't. Hey, here's why I probably don't know. They're not Japanese horses. I'm stupid. Of course we're not going to know. They're not horses that have a Japanese legacy. You know, they're not horses that race in Japan like that. They're a bunch of international horses. Why the fuck would I? You know, they're not in the game like that. Of course I don't know who they are. I literally only know horses that are in the game.
This was the highlight of Tokai Teio's career. The sheer sound of the fans' cheers and the excitement in the announcers'
That's so
voices
cool, though.
are enough to establish just how much hope Tokai Teio had inspired with this triumphant victory.
Bro, green shirt is whipping the shit out of his horse. Damn, dude. That's crazy. Wow. That's awesome.
Now that we covered that portion of Teio's career, we can look once more to Umamusume Season 2 for the final race.
Why did they leave that out?
Covered in this series. After sustaining a much more severe fracture on the 3rd of June 1993, Teio would cancel her race at the Takarazuka Kinen. This would showcase the internal struggle of Teio in the anime, seeing how she could have won the competition if she had participated. Teio would go through a lot of highs and lows
because it would ruin the
point,
pacing?
but with the help of her friends and her trainer, she'd find the strength and determination to continue on. At this point, Teio would be told she may never race at full capacity again, a devastating blow to the young Uma. Despite this, her determination to race never dwindled.
Yeah, because if they give her the win here, they probably left it out because they wanted to make it seem like she was at her lowest of her low. You might never race again. And then finally, at the very end, she wins this big one. Now, if they make her win a big one, and then injury again, and then fall off again, you may never race again, and then, you know what I mean? It's more impactful for there to be like this big nothingness, and then boom, success, rather than big nothingness. Oh, big success. Oh no, big success. You know what I mean? That's probably what it is. They need rights for the Umas. Oh, you think they didn't have rights for the... No, I mean, it would have been a bunch of no-name NPCs in Japan Cup. Yeah, it's fine. Fuck them. I mean, they do that. They do that with other horses. You just give them different names and make them seem like a big deal.
And even through the pain of rehabilitation and conditioning, she found herself once more on the race course. A year after Tokai Teio's crushing loss at the Arima Kinen, the race following Tokai Teio's Japan Cup victory, she participated in the following year's Arima Kinen. The popularity of Tokai Teio had seen many ups and downs from her audience, but everyone hoped for a miracle for this race. Teio's popularity at the previous Arima Kinen would be first seeded to win. However, after the crushing defeat a year prior, it had dropped to 4th. If Teio's previous absence had little hope for turning a victory,
favorite.
This race had even more doubt. In the recorded history of Japanese horse racing, there hasn't been a single G1 winner that hadn't raced for a year and come back victorious on the track. It's unheard of in general for this to occur at all, to have a horse return after such a long hiatus. Injuries like Teio's, for many, will result in retirement. When the race began, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Teio would perform as he usually did in both the anime and in Umamusume's final episode. As the race progressed though, just like with the Japan Cup, the audience began to see something remarkable occur. The miracle they all hoped for was about to become a reality. In the anime, Teio digs deep to find the strength to push for first place, directly reflecting actual footage of the 1993 Arima Kinen. Just like in the Japan Cup, the audience cheers were overwhelming. The legacy of Tokai Teio was still alive, and a victory only described as a miracle was about to occur. Teio would surpass Biwa Hayahide near the final spurt of the race, claiming another G1 victory after 364 consecutive days away from the race course. This solidified Teio as one of the greatest racehorses of all time, setting the record for the longest period for a G1 winner to return and win yet another G1 race. Even in modern day, this record remains undefeated, a lasting example of Teio's perseverance. The victory in the anime comes off episodes of Teio struggling with her injuries, the possibility of not racing again, nor racing with her beloved rival, Mejiro McQueen. Teio's victory in the anime is described as a miracle race because that's exactly what it was. Not only did Teio defy all odds at the Japan Cup, but once more in 1993 at the Arima Kinen.
That's
a victory
huge.
that would
Wow.
end Teo's career on a high note after sequences of crushing defeats.
Damn.
Sadly, following the Arima Kinen victory in 1994,
Oh,
Teo
no.
would sustain one final fracture that would force him into retirement. Even
Oh.
though he didn't claim the Triple Crown title, Teo had solidified himself as a legendary racehorse. Unsurprisingly, in 1995, Tokai Teio was inducted to the JRA Hall of Fame, immortalized.
What's up, chat? What happened? Your reaction to this race is peak? Oh. Yeah, fuck Mo Beats, bro. Yeah. I wish we could post it. Maybe one day we'll be able to post it in the future, but I don't know. It's kind of risky.
His story Tokai as a legendary racehorse. Unsurprisingly, in 1995, Tokai Teio was inducted to the JRA Hall of Fame, immortalizing his story of perseverance and determination.
Good.
Following Teio's retirement, a photo album was released of him titled Yume o Kakeru, which is the same name as the second season's opening of Umamusume, a tribute to Teio's legacy and the lasting impact he had on Japanese horse racing. Teio would live out the remainder of his life away from the racetrack, acting as a breeding stallion to continue on the legacy as he did Rudolph's. Teio would have 835 offspring, with some of the most notable being Tokai Point, Yamanin's Cure, Tokai Pulsar, and Strong Blood. Tokai Teio lived comfortably for the remainder of his life before passing away on August 30th, 2013. He was the age of 25 and sadly
That's actually pretty up there.
would die of heart failure. A
Oh, that's
racehorse
really
who
sad.
defied all odds and
Heart
returned
failure,
to
damn.
captivate the hearts of millions. This was the story of Tokai Teio, one of determination and perseverance, a legacy honored by an energetic Uma with a love for racing and a drive to never give up. Who would you
Beautiful. Go and watch Pyrex' actual video, okay? Not just my reaction to the video. Hit the actual video without my yapping. And make sure you leave a like on that video and leave a comment on that video. Asking, letting Pyrex know which Uma you would want to see next, okay? We want Gold Chip. We want Gold Chip. Gold Chip should be one of the ones we get soon. Hopefully. I hope. Tokai Teio's story is awesome. I did not know about the Japan Cup thing, which is huge for this. That is a big thing. And that just like really goes to solidify truly the two big moments at the end that really solidify Tokai Teio. Winning the Japan Cup after it not being won for 6 years, right? By a Japanese horse. So claiming it for Japan again after 6 years in a race that she wasn't supposed to win. He wasn't supposed to win. And then also going on to win the Arima Kinen with a year off, not racing for an entire year. Those are pretty crazy feats. So shout out to Tokai Teio, a legendary racehorse. Season 2 is so far the best season that we've gotten. Great video. Great video. If you all like this one, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, make sure you all keep it fresh. Peace.